Hi, my name is Adriana, and I will be discussing the topic of religious freedom. The policy question our group discussed was, should professionals be able to withhold services to couples of same-sex marriages if it is against their religious beliefs? I believe the free exercise of religion should be protected. Let's consider the recent 2015 Supreme Court case decision that most of us are familiar with and which I will utilize throughout this presentation. Christian Colorado baker Jack Phillips, asked by a same-sex couple to make them a wedding cake, refused to make the wedding cake but offered to make them another type of cake due to his sincere religious beliefs. We know that the court was in favor of the Colorado baker, with a 7-2 ruling. What was the opinion then? And did this ruling mean people could do whatever they wanted because of their personal religious beliefs? Justice Kennedy explained, the Colorado Civil Rights Commission's consideration of this case was inconsistent with the state's obligation of religious neutrality. The reason and motive for the baker's refusal were based on his sincere religious beliefs and convictions. When the Colorado Civil Rights Commission considered this case, it did not do so with the religious neutrality that the Constitution requires. So here we understand that Phillips won mainly because of the discrimination he faced when brought to the Colorado Civil Rights Commission. Nevertheless, Justice Kennedy later explained this principle of, quote, the right of all persons to exercise fundamental freedoms under the First Amendment as applied to the states through the 14th Amendment, close quote, in conflict with, quote, the state and its governmental entities to protect the rights and dignity of gay persons. There is a clear distinction, though, that is explicitly stated in the law that upholds the fundamental rights of religious people. We find this law in the law of the land, the Constitution, and specifically as stated in the First Amendment in the Bill of Rights. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. What does this mean? Many people have come to interpret this and define what it really means. Essentially, there are two parts to religion clause in the First Amendment, the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause. For purposes of this presentation, I will discuss the Free Exercise Clause. Quote, the Free Exercise Clause pertains to the right to freely exercise one religion. It states that the government shall make no law prohibiting the free exercise of religion. So, considering Jack Phillips' religious belief, the government, quote, shall make no law to prohibit the free exercise of, close quote, his religious beliefs. Well, then how is this fair to the couple? Let's consider another act or law. Some of you may have heard of RFRA, or Religious Freedom Reformation Act of 1993, signed by Bill Clinton, who explained it in this way, quote, what RFRA basically says is that the government should be held to a very high level of proof before it interferes with someone's free exercise of religion. We believe strongly that we can never be too vigilant in this work, close quote. Unfortunately, later this was held unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, even though it is still used in the federal government, and there have been other types of, quote, tests to protect religious freedom, such as the Sherbert and Lemon test, which get their names from Supreme Court cases. RFRA, Lemon test, and Sherbert test all work very similarly. The Lemon test is used for the Establishment Clause, and the Sherbert is a lot like RFRA for the Free Exercise Clause. As of now, 21 states have RFRA laws or other acts like it. Colorado is not one of them. How do these tests work? As you can see from this diagram, it works like this. While Colorado does not have RFRA laws, the Supreme Court could have used the Sherbert test, which is very similar in this situation. First, does Jack Phillips have a sincere belief that is being substantially burdened? Yes, it moves on. Does the government have a very good reason to interfere? One might say the rights of the gay couple, but the last part of the test is there a reasonable alternative to serve the public interest? Well, for one thing, Phillips explained he would offer another type of cake. The couple is also not being harmed and can go to another baker to receive the cake for their wedding. Then you might ask, well then what about the couple's rights and equality stated in the Colorado law? There is a very big misunderstood concept or words that people use interchangeably but mistakenly. This is civil liberties and civil rights. Civil rights are defined as concerning the basic right to be free from unequal treatment based on protected characteristics. Civil liberties are basic rights and freedoms that are guaranteed through the law. Civil liberties include the right to free speech, the right to privacy, the right to remain silent, the right to vote, and the right to free exercise of religion. According to FindLaw, quote, civil liberties concern the actual basic freedoms. Civil rights concern the treatment of an individual regarding those rights. Here then we see that one is about equality and one is about fundamental and basic rights. Jack Phillips did not deny them a basic right, which would mean that individuals have a right to services, which is not true, which we know that even a 15-year-old can be denied alcohol based on his age, which is also considered discrimination. As we can see, the freedom to exercise and practice one's religious beliefs is a basic and fundamental right as explicitly written and demonstrated in law. Thank you.